Good morning, this is Jacob Folger, artist and sculptor, and today we're going to make we have a very cool project. We're going to make a fairy house, and we're going to put it into a fairy garden terrarium with kind of a mountain setting using live moss and stones, and it's going to be pretty neat. And the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a fairy house, and it's just gonna be like maybe the typical house you would see if you were driving through a neighborhood. And it's a very simple design. The one thing that we're going to do that's a lot different is we're going to do a dry brush finish on it instead of using the Pearl pigments that we usually use in a lot of the videos you see on my channel. This will be different in that way. So the first thing that we're going to do is take a ball of clay. Make sure you knead and condition it first, and then roll it into an oblong shape like this, and then using your fingers on this side, these two sides, and your other fingers on the other side, kind of form it to be a little like rectangular cube just by squeezing it like that. And then at the top of it, maybe flatten it a little bit more, form it a little bit more. At the top of it, squeeze with your fingers like this to create a point, and you should squeeze on both sides so it's uniform, so it looks fairly uniform, and it should look like that. Now take another piece of clay. It's not going to be very big, it's going to be like about this size here. Roll it into a ball and then into an oblong shape, or almost a noodle, and then flatten it so that the width of it is about the same as the depth of the house, like that. So you might want to go a little further on the squeezing. Put the point of the main part of the house against it like that at center, and then fold it down like that. And then just form it with your fingers so it's fairly uniform around the whole attachment there, like that. Now you can take another little ball of clay, roll it into an oblong shape, maybe like that, and put it on the side of the roof like that. And then I just twist it out slightly like that, and then I'll take a back end of a paintbrush and put a little hole in the top, and that will be a chimney now. You can take a tool like this and put in a window. This is a back end of a paintbrush that actually got broken. So there's a window there. You can make it bigger by putting the brush in the hole and then going like this, and that will spread out the hole. If you put the brush and hold it like that and kind of rock it back and forth, you can create a little doorway like that. And then you can use the other part of the brush again to make another window right there beside the door. You can widen the door here by just doing this. You also can, of course, put a window in the back and a back door if you want, like that. Now, in the video description down below the video, there's going to be a tool and supply list. There's also going to be baking instructions for Sculpey 3 polymer clay. If you're using another type of clay, we're using obviously Sculpey 3 today. If you're using a different type of clay, you might want to check the directions on there and make sure you're cooking it for the right time and temperature. Now, another thing that you can do is, in order for the house to stand up in the garden, it would be good to pin it. And this is 18 gauge galvanized steel wire. You can slide this up inside like that. And if you don't want the pin all the time in there, you can in other words, you may want to put this on your dining room table or something for a while, or whatever, or have the option. You can hold on to the wire and rotate it like this, making the hole relatively generous, so that you can put the wire in and then take it out. And then you can bake it like that, and then when you're ready to put the wire in, you can put the wire in like that. Then you can go ahead, follow the instructions in the video description to bake it. There will also be links to 2 smoothing videos on how to smooth polymer clay in there if you want to get your house nice and smooth. Now, I made another house that's already baked, so I'm going to set this aside here. This one's already been baked, and I'm going to go right into how to do a dry brush finish. Now, this is kind of an antique-like or faux antique finish that I'm going to do. It's very easy to do. This is acrylic color acrylic paint, and I'm going to use cerulean blue, and I'm going to use a little bit of red. This is going to be crimson red, and I might use some other colors. If I do, I'll tell you what they are, but I'm going to put those colors, all the colors that I use, in the video description in the tool and supply list. Now, these paints here are artist grade. That means that artists would use them professionally. I'm just going to put a little dab of the red on the paper towel, and I'm going to close it up tightly because I don't want it to get hard on me. I'm also going to put the cerulean blue on a little bit of it. We don't need much. Seal that up tightly. I'm going to start off with this brush here, and I'm going to just get a little bit on the brush like that, and then I'm going to kind of take it off by doing little circles on the paper towel until it's really just barely showing up. And then I'm going to lightly brush the house to apply the paint. It's called dry brushing. You could do this over a white house as well. I'm going to go to another brush here, and I'm going to get a little bit of red. I wouldn't want to use that same brush without cleaning it. dab it off or get it off the brush as much as possible, and then I'm going to go over the gables. Might want it a little bit heavier there. Just get a little bit more on there. And just keep on, I keep on going over it until I get to where I want, but I don't want it to be really heavy. I just want it to be in a kind of faux antique finish. Now I'm not doing the main part of the roof because that's a roof, but I want to do the chimney because chimneys are often red. And then I'm going to do the door. I'm just wiping some off that got on the outside. So it's a relatively dark finish. It's very subdued, and it is definitely an antique-like finish. Faux antique, of course. And get the rest of the chimney here. And I did another one like this earlier that was with white, red, and blue. And we might use both of these in the garden. They both have been set up with pins. So they both had the generous hole at the bottom before they baked. So that one is ready. And this one is ready too. And it dries very quickly, so we don't have to really wait for it. So we'll get ready now to start the garden. Okay, I'm going to show you what we've got here. We've got some pebbles for drainage to go in the bottom of the glass, and we have live moss. This is fern moss here, and it's very pretty, and it has shapes of ferns. That's what it's made up of, and it's very, very pretty. And we have frog moss here, and we have mood moss here, and we also have some rocks. And we have some larger pebbles that we might want to use. We have our 2 fairy houses, and we have some dry moss that we're going to use to help with the drainage and the keeping water problems down. And we have some nice rich soil. And then we also have glass. And this is a glass bowl, round kind of bowl shape. And so first what we're going to do here is put our pebbles in. Definitely for the drainage you want, small pebbles. Because when they're combined, it makes a lot more airspace around them, to help to keep the water levels down and away from the plantings and the moss. And then what you want to do is kind of create a little hollow in here and put the dry moss down in there. And then just sort of cover it over. Next you want to put soil in. Now moss itself doesn't really require soil, but I use it to bring moisture to the moss. Let's put some of this in here. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. So now what I'm going to do is I have a nice stone here that I found down by the creek. It's it looks like it's got some quartz in it, so it's got some clear spots and it's just really pretty. And I'm going to put that over here. I'm going to put some stones in first before I put the moss in, so that it's not sitting on top of the moss. So that's the big stone main thing, and then I'm going to take, as far as the moss goes, you can basically tear or break it, and I'm going to put some around. That's the mood moss. I'm putting it around the stone, the sides of the stone, like that. And I want to tell you that you guys, you know, if you've never done this sort of thing before, it's okay, because you can do this, you know, you can do this, you can make those little houses, you can sculpt, you can do whatever you want. It's not that hard. I say just try it. And the hard part is going to be, really, at first, is probably going to be patience and perseverance. You know, you're going to have to persevere, and you might have some problems with you know, getting your hands to work for you the way you'd like them to, so that may take a little while to get used to. Okay, so we have a nice little thing around the stone here. This is really nice. Now, one thing I want to tell you about while you're laying the moss in is definitely just lay it in. Don't force it in. It will not be comfortable in there, squished into spaces. So now this is my my fern moss, and I'm going to just basically tear this in half. And I think I'll use this half. And then I'll just lay that in there. And I'm just laying it in, kind of nestling it in with my hand. Oh, it's so pretty with the three different types of moss. It's gorgeous. And now I can maybe lay in a couple other stones. I'll put one here, and I like this granite stone. I'm in Washington, D.C. We don't really have granite around here that I've seen. I'm pretty sure we don't. We might. I've never seen it like this anyways. A friend of mine in Massachusetts sent this to me. Thank you, Pat. My friend Pat in Massachusetts. So I'm just going to set that there. Now, by using the moss, which is a darker color, and with stones that are light, kind of spread out throughout the terrarium, the contrasting colors and textures draw your eye from one spot to another, making it far more interesting. So just keep that in mind. Maybe spreading out those lighter colors and different textures, like I did in here, to create that those contrasting colors, allowing you to now, when you look at it, to say, oh wow, there's a stone there and there's a stone there, and this one's different, and it just kind of an artistic way of doing it. Now we'll take our houses, and I'm going to take the wires off and just set them in here and just see where they look good. I think I'm going to put one right in there. Like that. Let you see that. So it's almost like the fairy house has its own little yard. That's really cool. I like that. And I think this one's going to be kind of across the way here. I'm just going to set it in, take the pin out and set it in and see how that looks. I'll put the pin back in and then I'll stick it down in there. You can take some of these stones here and just put them around. You could do walkways, you know, what have you. It is kind of a this moss is kind of a bumpy surface, but put some rocks back in there. Nice smooth stones. Yeah, it's really pretty. I really also just like the natural kind of mountain retreat. You know, a couple of different houses. You could put groupings of houses. There's a lot of ways you could go in, what directions you could go with this. So there you go. As far as watering goes, you can just mist it when you need to. You know, spray it with the mister. I'll keep in mind that moss likes to be kept moist, but you don't want to overdo it because you don't want it getting sopping wet and not being able to drain off. If you fill it up with water, it will, you know, it will hurt the moss. So just keep that in mind. It's a very relaxing hobby, and just the results are very quick, and it just makes it really fun to do. So I hope you'll try it. If you like this kind of content, please subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of videos along these lines, and please give me a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you think of it, and please leave a comment. Also keep in mind that I do make things for others if you want something made for you, and please visit my art shop. Thank you so much for watching.